a todos. Hello, everyone. Soy Hillary, la abogada de inmigración, con la única Sarah Ruiz, mi amiga mexicana. Sarah, how are you today? ¿Cómo está hoy?
I'm very good. Estoy muy bien. And soon the lawyer is not going to need me anymore. She's going to speak perfect
No,
Spanish.
you will always be, it's like it's a show. It's our show. It's the Sarah and Hillary show. Okay.
Nuestro show.
I love it. Okay. Today's story time with Abogada Hillary. I'll talk about myself. And everybody who's watching, hi to you. I see you watching. Thank you so much. We haven't been on for like a week, so I feel like I've missed you all. But today we're going to talk about deferred action. And what is it? Why do we want it? Why is it important? Why is everybody fighting over it? And why is it good for you to have, even if you can't get a green card?
Exacto, entonces hoy es tiempo de una historia con la abogada Hillary. Hoy vamos a hablar de un tema que casi no se toca, pero que mucha gente quiere saber y es la acción diferida. ¿Qué es? ¿Por qué es importante? ¿Por qué tú vas a querer obtenerla? ¿Cuáles son los beneficios? Y pues prácticamente todo lo que hay que saber sobre la acción diferida.
I forgot to update our topic in our stream title, so I'm going to see if I can do that, if it's going to change things. But anyway, okay, so a lot of people are in the United States and they have situations where they cannot agarra sus papeles, okay? They can't get their papers. And so they're just out of reach. And deferred action is this really cool, Sarah, do you know the song when I quote it, can't touch this?
Mm-hmm.
Can't touch this. That's what deferred action is. So like every time we think about this, we need to like have the dance move because that's what deferred action is.
Exacto. Entonces hoy vamos a hablar de la situación en la que están muchas personas en los Estados Unidos. Muchas personas por muchas situaciones no pueden agarrar sus papeles. Entonces, la acción diferida es algo que nos dice como la canción, can't touch this, no puedes tocar esto, y vamos a pensar en eso cada vez que hablemos de la acción diferida.
Okay, and what I mean by this is, let's say you have DACA, deferred action for childhood arrivals, DACA. The first two words in that is deferred action. Deferred action means that unless it's taken away, unless you do something to lose your DACA, ICE cannot deport you, period. Hard stop, can't touch this.
Exacto, entonces vamos a hablar de, por ejemplo, la acción diferida que es DACA. Para quienes no sepan, DACA, sus siglas quieren decir Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival, acción diferida para los llegados en la infancia. Entonces, a menos que este DACA te sea quitado, que hagas algo muy malo, lo que esto quiere decir es que ICE no te puede deportar, punto. Bajo ninguna circunstancia, can't touch this, no te puede tocar.
Exactly. We have actually one of our team members, he was ordered removed, but he has DACA. So when it was time for us to send him for his green card interview, they said, well, ordinarily we would try to deport you, but you have DACA, so I can't touch you.
Exacto. Entonces, por ejemplo, uno de los miembros de nuestro equipo, él tenía DACA, pero también le ordenaron una orden de deportación. Entonces, cuando llegó el momento para su entrevista de Green Card, cuando él llegó con el oficial le dijo, tú tienes una orden de deportación, pero como tienes DACA, no te puedo deportar, no te puedo tocar.
Can't touch this. Okay. Another example for why deferred action, and deferred action isn't limited to just DACA. It's kind of the famous one. It's like the most well-known because so many people, it's on our recent memory, but you can get deferred action if you have a medical issue where you need to remain in the United States. A really classic example of that is I need to get a kidney transplant. I cannot get on the kidney transplant list in the United States without a social security number. United States government, will you issue me deferred action and with that a social security number so I can get on this kidney transplant list? And also, while I'm on that transplant list and while I have medical deferred action, you can't deport me.
Exacto, entonces, por ejemplo, queremos hoy hablar de la acción diferida en su totalidad. No hablamos de DACA porque es como el más popular, es el chico popular, pero hay muchos tipos de acciones diferidas. Por ejemplo, cuando tú tienes una situación médica, por ejemplo, que necesitas un trasplante, no sé si lo sabían, pero tú no puedes acceder a la lista de espera para un trasplante si no tienes un número social, un seguro social. Entonces, básicamente lo que le decimos al gobierno es, necesito que me des acción diferida para poder obtener un seguro social y poder entrar a esta lista. Y además de ese maravilloso beneficio de tener un seguro social y acceso a los servicios de salud, ICE no te puede deportar, aunque sepa dónde estás, aunque sepa que no tienes documentos.
Exactly. I love it. So here's a situation where a lot of people come to us and they're in a lot of stress. They're in removal proceedings. The government is trying to deport them. Perhaps they don't have a really strong case. But a lot of times, what we do is we find ways to help them get deferred action, even while the government is trying to deport them. So the court system is trying to deport them. The other arm of the government that adjudicates and makes decisions on immigration petitions, USCIS, that's who's going to adjudicate your deferred action request. So we have clients who, you know, they've been through a lot of hard times and they gotten ordered removed, but their kid is in the military. And so we applied for what's called parole in place military deferred action. It doesn't mean that they're on a path to a green card because they're actively in removal proceedings. You kind of usually can't do both at the same time. But while I'm in removal proceedings, I'm going to apply for deferred action so that, God forbid, worst case scenario, the immigration judge says you're deported. ICE cannot touch you because you now have deferred action. You have this like protection bubble around you, and hopefully that song playing over and over in your head.
Ok, entonces vamos a tener, por ejemplo, un ejemplo que vemos de clientes que llegan con nosotros bajo muchísimo estrés, y es que muchos de ellos se encontraban en un proceso activo de deportación, es decir, un juez de inmigración estaba tratando de deportarlos, y algunos de ellos, si por ejemplo tú tienes algún hijo o algún esposo o madre que está en el ejército, ellos pueden ayudarte a recibir algo que se llama permiso de permanencia militar, acción diferida. Y si bien eso no te va a otorgar en ese momento una green card, porque básicamente no puedes estar en proceso de deportación y obtener una green card, lo que va a hacer es que mientras la corte intenta deportarte, el otro brazo del gobierno de inmigración, USCIS, te va a proteger, te va a dar tu acción diferida. Y entonces, aunque pasara el peor escenario posible, es decir, que el juez de inmigración dijera, sí, te tienes que ir, ICE, otra vez, no te puede tocar. Tienes una burbuja a tu alrededor que te está protegiendo gracias a la acción diferida.
Yes, it's amazing. Another example of why having deferred action is so helpful. You get some of the benefits. Let's first talk about those. You get a social security number, you get work authorization, in addition to not being removable, like in the physical sense. You might be ordered removed. A judge may say, I'm ordering you removed, while at the same time, ICE obviously can't touch you. So, I mean, like the song keeps going in my head. I can't stop it. But having a social security number and having a driver's license and a work permit, basically for the duration of your time in the United States. So until Jesus comes and takes us all home, or until some other immigration reform happens, and I'm not sure which one is going to happen first, you have these things at your disposal, independent of what goes on in immigration court, independent of what goes on with your wife's petition for you. You are safe and protected. Your future is known, and that is incredible.
Exacto, entonces, por ejemplo, vamos a entrar un poquito en los detalles de los beneficios. Ya hablamos un poquito del seguro social y obviamente la protección física de en que aunque un juez dijera te tienes que ir, ICE no te puede tocar, pero entonces tenemos la protección contra la deportación, no te puede tocar, el seguro social. Además de eso, tenemos un permiso de trabajo para que tú puedas obtener mejores beneficios laborales, estar ahorrando para el futuro, para cuando te retires. Además de eso, en estados como Arizona vas a poder acceder a una licencia de conducir que te va a permitir manejar a todos lados, subirte a un avión. Ya hablamos un poquito del Real ID. hace algunos meses. Entonces tienes todas estos beneficios al alcance de tus manos. Y eso es independientemente de lo que pase con el juez de inmigración y con USCIS. Y vas a tener esos beneficios por el resto del tiempo hasta que bromea la abogada que Jesús regrese o que haya una reforma de inmigración, que a este punto, como vemos las cosas, no sabemos si va a pasar la buena o va a pasar la mala.
Yes. Hola, Adelia. How are you? ¿Cómo está? Thank you so much for watching. We're happy you're here. Okay, so Sarah, right now, a huge update kind of in the immigration court system is that the government, the attorneys are requesting that the immigration courts close cases, dismiss them, rather than giving people administrative closure. Here's why this is a big deal. When we close immigration court cases, when we terminate them, we tear it up and it's as if it was never there, you no longer have access to a work permit. You no longer have a stay of removal. Because when I'm driving around and I have an administratively closed case, my case is active. I'm not having to report to court right now, but I'm actively in removal proceedings. So I have a stay of removal. That means like you can't touch me, right? Like we keep coming back to this. Hola, Hector, ¿cómo está? It's good to see you, Hector. Hola. When your case is closed, terminated, gone, you're no longer, it's not an administrative closure where the judge just closes your case and puts it on the bookshelf for a rainy day when they have cases that they need to open up for people because they're bored. That's no longer the case. So your case is closed, it's terminated, all that good stuff. So you no longer have access to a work permit and you no longer have a stay of removal. So the next time that you, God forbid, get pulled over by the police, maybe you're in a fender bender, you're not going to be driving on a driver's license, a valid driver's license anymore, because that goes away when your work permit goes away. And you'll immediately, most likely, be taken back into ICE custody. And this can start happening over and over and over. With deferred action, though, we'll leave it there. And first, I want to say, hola, Vega, ¿cómo está? Gracias por su comment. ¿Cómo se dice comment? Comentario. I was so close.
Okay.
This is the cutest little picture of a kid, too, by the way. Go ahead.
Dice que su foto de no sé, su nieto, su hijo está hermosa.
Yeah.
Ok, entonces, la razón por la que estamos trayendo este tipo de mensajes con ustedes es porque siempre hay algo pasando en la ley de inmigración, siempre está cambiando, siempre se está moviendo, y una situación que tenemos ahorita es que hay abogados pidiéndole a la corte que los casos se cierren. Hay una diferencia entre un caso cerrado, no existe, y un caso cerrado administrativamente. Cuando tu caso no existe, no lo desaparecemos, no está, eso es algo bueno. Sin embargo, eso quiere decir que no tienes acceso a un permiso de trabajo, no tienes acceso a un seguro social, a una licencia de conducir. Entonces, si tú te ves de nuevo en una situación en la que un oficial de tránsito te detiene, tú no vas a tener una licencia y lo más probable es que termines con ICE de nuevo. Y entonces es un ciclo que se va a repetir, que no pasaría o no pasa con con el cerrado administrativamente. Un cerrado administrativamente es como se congela tu caso, pero tienes acceso a un permiso de trabajo, a un número de seguridad social, a esa licencia de conducir, y tienes lo que llamamos una estadía, es decir, estás protegido y puedes estar aquí como evaluado por ICE. Entonces, aquí hay una diferencia y es aquí donde queremos recordarte que la acción diferida es tu mejor opción.
Yeah, okay. So a lot of times people will come in and they'll say, why do I need to bother with getting deferred action when I have an administratively closed case that gives me a work permit, gives me a social security number, and it gives me protection from ICE? And for a long time, the answer was, you know what, sir? You know what, ma'am? You're right. There isn't a huge advantage to it because at the time, for the past oh my gosh, over 10 years, because administrative closure became a really big thing when Obama was president. So like 2011, 2012, that's when we started seeing all these cases administratively closed. And then when Trump was president, he was reopening all of these cases. So it was like, well, if you can just survive and lay low and not have your case reopened, then you're going to ride this wave out. But the new thing, and this isn't even Biden directed, it's just what the government attorneys are choosing to do, is to actually close these cases for good. So in a second, DHS could file thousands of motions to dismiss, and all of these cases that are currently pending before the immigration court, again, poof, go away. And so does your right. There's no way for us as an immigration attorney to stop it. We cannot insist that the government keeps trying to deport you. We cannot insist that the government keep your case open. We cannot insist that you get your day in court. There's nothing we can do once the government makes a decision that it no longer wants to deport you. So poof, all of a sudden, these things that you have come to rely on, your job, your livelihood, all of this goes away. But if you have deferred action, because you can have both, you can have an administratively closed case and a work permit based on that, and you can have a work permit based on deferred action. You can have both. And if one goes away, you have this as an option. And even if you don't have an administratively closed case, you can have deferred action. Let's say you were ordered removed 15 years ago. You can get deferred action if you qualify for it. There's all these different ways to qualify for it. I'm going to stop there, Sarah, because I'm talking so much.
Exacto. Entonces, aquí, por ejemplo, lo que vemos es este peligro de que ahora, en lugar de elegir cerrar administrativamente tu caso, quieran cerrarlo y quitarte tu permiso de trabajo, tu número de seguridad social, eso que con tanto trabajo has construido. Entonces, en realidad, los casos cerrados administrativamente se hicieron populares bajo Obama. Sin embargo, ahora, eso fue hace más o menos unos 10 años, y después con Trump lo que él quiso hacer es pedirle a DHS, Homeland Security, que abriera todos estos casos, y si ellos quisieran podrían decir, ok, todos estos casos se cierran, permisos de trabajo desaparecen, números sociales desaparecen, y todos estos casos se verían de nuevo en peligro. Desafortunadamente, si DHS solicita una moción para descalificar tu caso, no hay nada que ningún abogado de inmigración pueda hacer. No pueden pedirle que mantengan tu caso abierto, no pueden pedir que te dejen tu permiso de trabajo, todo esto se va. Entonces, lo que queremos invitarlos ahora es que si tú tienes un caso administrativamente cerrado, está bien. Hace algunos años no había necesidad de cambiar las cosas. Sin embargo, ahorita queremos animarte a buscar la opción de la acción diferida, porque si los casos administrativamente cerrados se van, puedes tener y puedes contar con la acción diferida. No hay problema que tengas un permiso y otro permiso. No hay problema que tengas todos estos beneficios por dos razones. Ahorita estamos viendo a los abogados de gobierno queriendo ya no dar la oportunidad de cerrar tu caso administrativamente, y lo más importante para nosotros es que estés protegido. Entonces, no sabemos lo que pueda pasar el día de mañana, pero la acción diferida es una gran opción, y si calificas, eso deberías estar consultando con tu abogado de inmigración.
Yes, I love it. I think the lesson and the takeaway here is there are so many unique tools in the immigration lawyer's toolbox. And just because we're used to using one tool, let's say the deferred action tool to help people who came here when they were kids, it doesn't mean that we can't use it to help people who are in removal proceedings, who've been ordered removed, who've never been in court before. They're just walking in off the street. We do that every single day. So if someone has told you, I'm sorry, you have the permanent bar, deferred action, that's the first thing that my mind goes to. Maybe we can get you deferred action, right? Because then we can equip you with this safety and security that will allow you to truly live with your family. You can drive to California, right? And just the simple freedoms that so many people take for granted. You are a good person. You have a clean record. You have paid your taxes. You have done your time. Call us so we can screen you for deferred action. Let's figure out if you even qualify. We don't charge for that. Like, this is literally free. And it could be something that is incredibly valuable in your life.
Exacto. Entonces, lo que queremos rescatar de esto, o nuestra lección aquí, es que hay muchas herramientas en la caja de herramientas de los abogados de inmigración. No porque utilicen esta herramienta de la acción diferida para las personas que llegaron cuando eran jóvenes, eso no quiere decir que no podamos utilizar la acción diferida para ti si estás en un proceso de deportación, si a lo mejor tienes que ir a corte o a lo mejor nunca has ido a corte, pero te han dicho que tienes el bloqueo permanente, que tienes el permanent bar. Entonces, el hecho de que no utilicemos la herramienta como siempre se ha utilizado no quiere decir que te puede beneficiar. Y esto es incluso referente a la Green Card. La Green Card es una gran opción, pero la acción diferida también lo es y te va a dar la libertad y los beneficios que tú estás buscando. Te va a permitir viajar a California con tu familia, te va a permitir hacer tus impuestos y la mayoría de las personas, la mayoría de nuestros clientes son excelentes ciudadanos de este país. Han trabajado muy duro, pagan sus impuestos, tienen un récord criminal limpio y te mereces esta acción diferida, te mereces esa libertad. Por favor, llámanos, queremos escuchar tu caso, queremos explorar las opciones. Es básicamente gratis también, pero queremos darte esa seguridad, esa protección aquí en el país que llamas tu hogar.
Yes, I love it. And next time you think about deferred action, I hope it's like that, dun, 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 can't touch this.
Exacto, y la próxima vez que pienses en acción diferida, escuches la canción Can't Touch This, No Me Puedes Tocar, y te acuerdes de la abogada haciendo su pasito, porque es verdaderamente una gran opción. Por favor, déjanos revisar tu caso, queremos ayudarte.
Okay, thank you so much, Sarah. Everybody, it's so good to see you. I see lots of people watching still. If you ever have questions, we are online. We're right here, ready to answer your questions. If you want to send them to us in Facebook Messenger, next week, I think it's next week, we have a new column coming out in Que Calor, which will be super exciting because we're going to be answering your questions there. Those are answers coming directly from me to you. So if you want to have your question featured in one of the most widely circulated Spanish-speaking magazines here in the Phoenix Valley, send us your message. But most importantly, I really want you to live free. And I don't think that you can live totally free if you're worried that someone can make you go live somewhere you don't want to live. So I want you to be in a position where you have the ability to say, I am not getting deported today. I'm not going to get deported tomorrow. I am here to stay. I'm in the United States because it's where I want to be. It's where I want to call home. I am with my family and I get to have the job of my choosing and live in the home of my choosing and drive the car of my choosing. These are basic freedoms that if you are living in fear, you're not living to your full potential of what I know God made you to live. And I want to encourage you. I want to piss you off. I want to do whatever it takes so that you hear where I'm coming from. You pick up the phone and you take your life by the balls because it is your one and only life. You were not meant to live in this country in fear. You were meant to live here free. And we can help you with that. And if we can't, we'll be honest with you and let you know.
Gracias. Y bueno, estamos aquí para ustedes siempre. Queremos que si tienen dudas, por favor, nos manden un mensaje en Facebook. Si tienes alguna pregunta, por favor, levanta el teléfono. Estamos aquí para ti. También prontamente vamos a estar en una de las publicaciones más famosas de Phoenix. Vamos a estar en Qué Calor, resolviendo tus dudas. Por favor, mándanos tus preguntas. Queremos regalarte esta información porque sabemos que la necesitas, sabemos que esa libertad la estás buscando y no queremos que vivas con miedo, queremos que vivas libre, queremos que encuentres y te acuerdes de esos sueños que tenías cuando viniste y que estés protegido. Este es el lugar que tú has elegido como tu casa y aquí queremos que estés protegidos. Sabemos que a veces es difícil, que a veces es cansado, pero aquí estamos para ti, vamos a darte información, te vamos a retar también y vamos a hacer lo que sea necesario para que tú escuches nuestros mensajes y te des cuenta que no estuviste hecho para vivir con miedo aquí en los Estados Unidos. Tú estás hecho para más. Queremos ayudarte, por favor, levante el teléfono y pregúntanos. Y antes de ir, before we go, Hillary, we have a question from Lupita. She says,
Yes, please.
she asked, what is the date that you have to have arrived here for deferred action? I think she's talking about DACA, maybe.
Yeah, so for DACA, there's a specific date, but there's not a specific date for most types of deferred action. So if you think that perhaps it's like deferred actions like ice cream, there are so many different flavors, and you might be allergic to the ones that have, nuts in them. So you're not going to qualify for DACA because you didn't get here in time to apply for DACA, or maybe you're too old for DACA, right? I think I would probably fall in that category. So I feel you if that is the situation for you. But if you have been here for even a day, you can qualify for certain types of deferred action. So you can have been here for 25 years and qualify for certain types of deferred action. There are so many different ways that the government can issue you deferred action. It really is like, imagine going to the ice cream parlor and seeing all the different types and then wondering, which one will I like? Well, we have to sample them. We have to figure out which one is the right one for you based on your personal situation. That's a great question. Thank you so much for asking.
Muchas gracias, Lupita, es una excelente pregunta y bueno, esto obviamente depende, vamos a pensar que la acción diferida es como una tienda, es como la heladería, hay muchos sabores de helado y quizá uno no te gusta, quizá para otro no lo puedes obtener porque es alérgico, así funciona. DACA es una acción diferida muy específica y puede ser que seas grande o muy joven para aplicar para DACA. La abogada dice, yo soy muy grande ya para aplicar a DACA, pero hay muchos otros tipos de acción diferida. Lo importante es buscar para la que puedes aplicar, porque puedes aplicar teniendo un día en los Estados Unidos. Si calificas, puedes tener 25 años en los Estados Unidos y aplicar para otro tipo diferente de acción diferida. Lo importante es conocer tu caso, que es único como tú, y buscar la opción que más te conviene. Entonces, depende de la acción diferida que esté disponible para ti, pero hay muchas opciones, hay muchos sabores y muchas gracias por tu pregunta, Lupita.
Yes, I love it. And deferred action is like ice cream in the sense of everybody likes it. So once you get it, everybody likes it. I've never had anybody say they don't like ice cream. And I've never had anybody say, I regret having deferred action. So anyway, Sarah, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you so much. I see many people are still watching and I am super grateful. We have a question from Alejandro and I want to make sure to address that. He's currently in Colombia and it's been 43 months. It is a wait. One of the neat things that we can do to help you, Alejandro, perhaps if you're interested, is to apply for what's called a bona fide determination and then an I-131 once we get that bona fide determination. I'm literally going to have to get out my phone to do this math. 43 divided by 12. How many years is this? You're at just over the 3.5-year point. So it would actually be a really wise thing, in my opinion, for you to reach out to USCIS. You can have us do it or you can do it yourself, but you can reach out to USCIS and ask them for, and I'm going to type it in the chat so you can see the exact words I'm talking about, but it's called a bona fide, right? Oh my gosh, Sarah, I'm losing my mind, but it's called a bona fide determination, or it's a prima facie determination. It's a blend. I'm going to type it in. And I'm thinking in English, and I only speak English, but I have no excuses for why I don't know this off the top of my head. But basically what it is it's asking USCIS to pre-approve you, to sort through and go, yep, you're right. Alejandro checks all these boxes. And once we get the quota, because Congress only allows for a certain amount of U visa grants every year. So yours is probably approvable. It's just, we got to get you in the line for the year that, your quota will be allocated to. what they're doing now is they're allowing people to enter the country once it's been determined that you're going to get approved once the quota is here. So that might be something you reach out to us for us to help you with. I promise I know the vocabulary better than in this moment, but it could be something really helpful for you. We've done it for other people who've needed that and needed to be able to get into the country sooner rather than later. So it might be something, Alejandra, that is helpful for you. Sorry, Sarah, that's long.
No, no. Ok, entonces Alejandro, lo que la abogada te sugiere es solicitar una preaprobación. No recuerdo bien si se llama bona fide o prima facie, pero básicamente lo que hace es pedirle a USCIS, que es quien será el encargado de aprobar tu petición, que busque tu caso, que lo evalúe y si tú calificas para todas las cosas, te extienda esta preaprobación y luego un permiso de viaje que te permita entrar al país antes de tiempo, porque ya sabe que cuando llegue el momento van a aprobar tu solicitud de visa U. Como saben, solo hay cierto número de visas U que se aprueban al año, por lo que tenemos que esperar en la línea hasta que lleguen al año en el que nosotros aplicamos. Pero esta es una opción que puedes explorar, Alejandro, si estás interesado. Es algo que hemos hecho por clientes antes que necesitan entrar al país y pues es simplemente alzar la mano y decir, USCIS, este es mi caso, si es posible, por favor, preapruébame y hacer el siguiente paso. Es una de las muchas maneras en que alguien que tiene la experiencia, que tiene el conocimiento, puede usar la ley de inmigración para ayudarte a ti. Entonces, muchas gracias por tu pregunta, Alejandro. Muy interesante.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is bona fide determination. I'm not losing my mind. Almost lost it. But I've also posted here in the chat a couple of FA like information directly. This one's directly from the USCIS website and it's in Spanish. If you're an English speaker and you're watching this and you want to know about this in English, go to the same website and just click English and it's going to switch over into the exact same thing. And then I also posted one that's specifically, it is in English. I don't have access to one in Spanish, but it's from a nonprofit that describes what this means, because this is really new. This program is less than a year old, and it's something that the Biden administration has created kind of out of thin air to help move you visas along.
Exacto. Entonces aquí en el chat hemos posteado la versión en español del sitio de USCIS. Si tú hablas inglés, vete al mismo sitio y solo da clic en la pequeña bandera en la que puedes cambiar a inglés. Y también tenemos otro de parte de una empresa que lo hace gratuitamente. Ese solo está en inglés, pero es básicamente hablando un poquito sobre el programa, que es muy, muy nuevo. Nació bajo la administración de Biden, tiene más o menos de un año de haberse creado y justamente es para estas personas que están en esta larga espera de la visa U. Entonces, Alejandro, por favor, revisa esa información y si tienes más dudas, por favor, llámanos, nos encantaría ayudarte. Muchas gracias por vernos.
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much, Alejandro. And I'm sorry you were a victim of crime here in the United States. I'm happy that you'll be returning very soon. Thank you, Sarah. It's been a wonderful chat. And thank you, everybody. I still see lots of you are watching. So thank you for sticking with us. If you have any questions or topics you ever want to hear from us, we're so happy. And I even cleaned out my office the other day and have a couple of pictures of my twins who turn 9 on Saturday. So that's crazy. That's when they were like 6 months old. Time flies when you're having fun, and it is such a great honor to serve alongside with you, Sarah.
Muchas gracias, es un honor servirles a todos ustedes, resolver sus dudas. Alejandro, por favor, envíanos un mensaje a nuestro Facebook, nuestro número también está apareciendo en pantalla y muchísimas gracias por vernos. Ahora sí que el tiempo vuela cuando uno se divierte y esperamos que esta información te sirva a ti o a alguien que conoces. Compártele este video.
Okay, hasta luego. Thanks, everybody.
Adiós.